Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be doing a deep dive into the 2020 NBA draft. We divided it into guards, wings, and bigs. As you can see from the title, today we'll be talking about the top 10 guards in this draft, starting with 3 honorable mentions who just barely missed the cut. The first one is Nico Mannion, one of the best passers in this class. The thing that's holding him back is his physical dimensions, but he can thrive in an offense that shares ball handling responsibilities. Plus, he's a shot maker who can fire threes off the dribble or run off screens. He's comfortable finishing around the rim using either hand, and he has one of the softest touches in the class, with a floater that's effective out to the elbows. He's a very savvy pick and roll presence thanks to his change of pace play. He can pull up or split defenders to get in the paint. But he lacks burst off the dribble, which hinders his ability to attack the basket. Struggles to turn the corner and doesn't possess advanced moves to create separation. Next we got Isaiah Joe, a dynamic and prolific 3-point threat, though he needs to round out the rest of his game, especially on the defensive end. He's a versatile shooter with deep range off a full sprint and off of screens. He knows how to cut and relocate. He's an effective marksman off the dribble. He loves to cross over from his right to his left hand into a step back shot. Though his frame hinders his versatility defensively, and he was often overpowered in college. He doesn't show enough passion and want on the defensive end and often gets blown by time and time again. Last, we got Theo Maledon, a very strong floor general who's become a potent shooter, though his lack of burst also limits his upside, which is an upside. As you can see, I value upside tremendously in this draft. He plays with a controlled place in the pick and roll. He loves to use hesitations to compensate for his lack of athleticism. He's a dual threat, dangerous both as a passer and a shooter off the dribble. He has a sturdy frame with long arm. He projects as a reliable man-to-man defender if his fundamentals improves. He's made steady progress each season and possesses high work ethic. He's also mentored by Spurs legend Tony Parker. Though he struggles to create space despite the change of pace and use of in and out dribbles and crossovers. He gets enveloped by quality defenders who beat him to the spot, and he currently lacks the ability to counterattack. Despite his size, he doesn't have success on switches against larger players, offering very little resistance. He defends on his heels, which slows down his lateral slides. He bites on too many shot fakes. That was the honorable mentions, and now we are heading into our top 10, starting with one of my draft favorites, even though I can't really pronounce his name, JAHMI'US RAMSEY, Texas Tech freshman. He's a fearless shot maker who needs to improve his playmaking, but has intriguing potential as a two-way guard. He has shades of Lonnie Walker, Dion Waiters, and J.R. Smith. He's a very flashy scorer who has the confidence to pull up from anywhere. He can comfortably step back or sidestep into his threes. He's a very good shooter off the catch. Texas Tech ran him off the screens, and he showed so much upside, manipulating defenders to create space before launching shots. He's at his best in the open floor, in which he shows his fluidity scoring on the break and explosiveness scoring around the rim. He has a strong frame for a guard with long arms. If he's able to improve some of his fixable weaknesses, it's easy to see him becoming a dynamic scorer and a very competent defender. He's potentially a good man-to-man defender if his fundamentals improve thanks to his length and frame, and he's a very athletic off-ball defender who can make noise in the passing lanes and disrupt shots. Though he struggles scoring around the rim even though he loves going there. His lack of burst is a detriment since he's not able to shed defenders off the dribble. He rarely uses his left hand and ends up settling for too many low percentage floaters. He's a very streaky shooter. While he made 40% of his 3-point attempts in college, he hit just 64% of his free throws. How would that translate to the NBA? His shot selection is very questionable. He takes a lot of tough shots in situations where he should pass or drive to the rim. He's presently not a primary option due to his shaky handle, but I love that he plays like he is. He's a subpar playmaker who lacks the feel in the pick and roll and misses way too many open teammates, and he loses interest on defense and lacks basic fundamentals. At 9, we have R.J. Hampton, a shifty athlete with a speedy first step, but activating his talent will require developing his jumper. He has shades of Will Barton, Dante Exum in both appearance and play, and a taller Rodrigue Bobois. He can hit turbo on drives to the rim and has explosiveness when elevating for layups. He stays low on his crossover and displays advanced move with herky-jerky hesitations. He displays the fundamentals, craft, and body control needed to become a good interior defender. Playmaking potential. He loves one-handed whip passes off the dribble and throws them with precision. He doesn't make advanced reads quite as well yet, but flashes the ability to develop in the pick and roll. He's a very good off-ball player, an aware cutter, and he relocates well around the perimeter. He runs like Forrest Gump in transition. You have to love the hustle. Long-term defensive upsides because of his athleticism and his dog mentality. Minuses. He has inconsistent footwork and this hurts his jump shot. His feet also seem to be lined up differently, though they're generally too close for him to cleanly release his shot. His upper body motion looks good, though. And without a reliable jumper, his strength will be diminished. Selecting him is a big bet on the development of his shooting ability. Though his at-rim finishing is an overall positive, he must get stronger so he can absorb contact and not rely so much on crafty finishes. He's still a very raw playmaker, still figuring out how to make his teammates better and make advanced reads. He makes some bad reads and occasionally he forces some bad passes. He's a very inexperienced defender with poor habits and poor fundamentals. He doesn't stay in his stance for the whole play and has yet to unlock his raw potential. At 8, we have Kira Lewis Jr., Alabama sophomore. He's a speedy point guard who pressures the rim and generates shots for himself around the perimeter. He's a prototypical Darius Garland, Lou Williams, Ish Smith type of player. He's a very dynamic shot creator who can blend speed, acceleration, and body control with quality crossovers and hesitations to find high percentage shots. His pick and roll playmaking habits bode well for his potential. He does a great job getting to the paint and then whipping the ball to perimeter shooters. He has a very smooth stroke with bouts of streakiness, but his form, free throw percentage, and shot selection all point to positive long-term success. He's a very agile on-ball defender who moves well laterally and fight through screens, but he needs to get a lot stronger to contain those bigger guards. He's a very active off-ball defender who does a good job helping, digging, getting to passing lanes without taking too many risks. Some minuses though. He drives recklessly, since he's still learning how to slow down and play with pace. If he does accomplish that, it will improve his vision and ability to finish. He's a very decent playmaker at this stage. He doesn't have the tightest of handles or the most advanced moves, and because of this, the ball often gets poked away and his inaccurate passes causes shooters to fall off balance. He needs to improve off the dribble, especially when going right. He also lacks a reliable floater. He does show a willingness to draw contact, but he needs to improve at finishing off-balance shots with touch. He's not projected to be a switchable defender due to his size. He's incredibly light and he lacks a frame to support much more weight. Fundamentals must improve on defense. He stands too uptight and upright on ball instead of staying low and gets crossed up on closeouts. At number 7, we have Cole Anthony, an energetic score-first point guard who at worst projects as a microwave scorer off the bench and at best can lead an offense. His ceiling seems to be one of Kemba Walker, Austin Rivers, and Patty Mills. He's a very talented shooter. He knows how to relocate off ball, bounce himself mid-air, and drain off the catch threes. He's a constant threat to score thanks to his ability to hit step back and pull-ups from all over the floor. He's an ambidextrous finisher with hops, body control, strength, and touch. He's much better than his numbers indicate because of North Carolina's horrific spacing in the half court. They often play with two non-shooting bigs on the floor. He's a very dynamic ball handler who can thrive with more room as a pick and roll threat. He strings together combo moves showing off a mix of chains and pace dribbles with crosses using either hand. He looks to score first, but he can make basic passes. And in transition, he's a dangerous threat. He's an excellent defensive rebounder for his size, and he can provide a jolt by sprinting down the floor on a break. He's a very feisty on-ball defender who has a sturdy frame and excellent lateral movement. Minuses: shot selection. He really needs to work on that. He forces too many contested looks instead of looking to pass, which causes bouts of streakiness. He's not a pure playmaker, nor does he naturally make his teammates better. He needs to work on making advanced reads, but even on the simple passes, his accuracy can be hit or miss. He's shown lacks of defensive versatility. He plays hard and he plays smart, but he's still undersized and will almost certainly be targeted by opponents on switches or against elite guards. At 6, we have TYREESE MAXEY, Kentucky guard freshman. He's a shot maker with a knack for making clutch plays on offense and on defense. He's an overall winner. He shows plenty of shades of Kyle Lowry, Bradley Beal, and Carson Edwards. Maxey is a clever finisher at the rim who can score from awkward angles using the glass and absorb contact to find an angle using either hand. He did shoot only 32% on jumpers, but his compact form, soft touch, and high percentage from the line bodes well for his future as a shooter. He's comfortable shooting off the dribble in either direction. He lacks elite burst, but he makes rapid movements, stopping and transitioning into his shot. He's a great pick and roll scorer who can get to the rim or pull up and shoot. Excellent on-ball defender with a strong frame and long arms. He plays hard, shifts his feet, and flips his hips well to move laterally and defend pick and rolls. He's strong enough to power through screens or defend larger rings. And on off-ball defense, he stays engaged, rotates well, and anticipates where the ball will be to beat opponents to their spots. Though he does lack top-end quickness and acceleration. He's at his best playing off of others, but he'll need to improve his handles to be a reliable scorer. He attempted a lot of tough, contested shots due to his inability to generate space off the dribble. His low release may contribute to his streakiness as a shooter. He has a good overall form, but has some really inaccurate misses that occasionally clank off the glass. If you made it to the end of this video, you're truly not a basketball casual, but a basketball intellectual. To make sure you don't miss part 2, subscribe and put on post notifications, and part 2 will be coming in a mere couple of days. Then we'll move on to wings and to bigs. I'll see you on the other side.